will be the topic for the next question. So that's what I tried to do. So it basically starts from one point. The answer for that would be the topic for the next question, and it goes on until you get an answer which is the topic for the first question. So that's what I've tried to do. I have something between 40 to 45 questions approximately, hoping that it is easy and everybody cracks it quickly. So that's basically about it. So without much ado, let's start the first question. This place got its name since Manu did penance here. Which town are we talking?
Manali.
Manali. Quick. It is Manali, right? Huh? Right. So the next question would be, whose temple is this in Manali?
Hidimba.
You've been there quite often. So this is the temple of. This temple is located in Manali. It stands with sacred forest in an ancient cave temple dedicated to Rakshasi who fell in love and married him. So it is the Hidimba Devi temple.
I can't hear now.
So when she married Bhima, the next question is,
oh God, I don't know.
What was Bhima's name when he was in disguise as a cook and wrestler at Virata's? Anybody wants to try? You can unmute and you can allow them, they're all unmuted, right?
Vallabha.
Vallabha. Wow. Vallabha it is. Since it's Vallabha, go to the next one. What is the name given to the second son of King Rishabha because of his immense strength on his arm?
Bahubali.
Bahubali, yes.
Second son of Rishabha. Second son.
Bahubali.
Bahubali.
It's a different Bahubali, but still a Bahubali. Right? So we are going from here. Does anybody know where this Bahubali was born?
Born, I only know the temple, Shravanabelagola.
Shravanabelagola, right? But do you know where this? Anybody wants to guess where this Bahubali was born?
Ayodhya.
Where, Babu?
Ayodhya.
Ayodhya, yes. So we go directly to Ayodhya. What was Dasaratha's name at the time of his birth? He was called Dasaratha, or was given the name Dasaratha because he could ride the chariot in 10 different directions, 8 on the sides and 2 up and down. So that is why he was called Dasaratha. But what was he named at birth? This time, as today's people call. Anybody wants to try? Can I close this?
Yeah.
He was called Nemi. He was named Nemi. For a long time, it was not available on any of those texts, but now all the edited texts have the name as Nemi. He was Nemi. So with Dasaratha, where is the only temple built for Bharata in India?
Bharatapuzha, Kerala.
It's called the Kudalmanikam temple at Bharatapura. This is in the state of Kerala, and this is the temple. I've taken a back with the backwaters. I've taken this photo is taken. It's actually, yeah, nice temple. All right, still with Bharata. Which present-day Pakistani city is named after Bharata's son? We had one on Rama's son last quiz episode. So we're having Bharata's son.
I don't know.
Takshashila?
Shishila. What was Bharata's son's name?
Son.
Not the one. A very famous city in Pakistan. So you can start guessing Pakistani city names.
Karachi. Karachi.
Not Karachi.
Rawalpindi.
Not Rawalpindi.
Lahore, Karachi.
Peshawar?
Peshawar after Pushkal. He had two sons. One was named Pushkal, and Peshawar is named after Pushkal. Pakistan has a lot of Ramayana collection. So this is one of them. Who was the mother of Chitraketu and Subahu in the Ramayana? Still in the Ramayana. We saw the father, we saw the child, now we are talking about the mother. No, who was the mother of
Mandavi?
Chitraketu?
Is it Mandavi?
Who's Mandavi?
Bharata's wife?
No. Bharata's wife had Pushkala, right? Kushal. So it has to be the other one.
Shrutakirti?
Right? That is Shrutakirti, wife of Shatrughan. So yeah, so we have only Lakshmana's son pending. We'll try to do it in the next.
Thanks to Ramayana serial.
Alright, so still in the Ramayana. It was in these deep forests that Rama and Sita spent 11 years of their 14 years of exile. Here that the great sage Atri and Pati Anushya had meditated. And here is where the principal trinity of Hindu pantheon, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, took their incarnation. Where did all of this happen?
Panchavati.
Chitrakoot.
Chitrakoot, brilliant. I thought this was quite tough, but nice to see somebody practicing it so quickly. Very good. Chitrakoot was a place. So since it is a place, we go to another place. Why is Ramteeth a place near Mr. Famous? What happened here for it to become a pilgrimage center?
That is the place where Love Kush attended school.
Attended school. Why did they attend school there?
I mean, in the sense that the
All right. So
Yeah.
basically, that is where Valmiki's ashram was, and that's where they were born. Hence, they attended school there. Right? So, yeah. So that's a place where Love and Kush were born. All right. One more on the Ramayana before we. This is the only chapter in Ramayana in which Rama is not the hero.
Sundarakanda.
Tarakanda.
Sundarakanda.
Sundarakandam.
Yes. Another easy one. So Sundarakandam with Hanuman, we go to this. This is a sequence. Connect what is the sequence and
Markandeya.
what are the two blanks.
Sapta Siranjeevis?
Markandeya.
No.
Okay.
Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama is already there. Parasurama is there. Vibhishana is there.
Markandeya.
Kripa.
Kripa and then
Vyasa.
Vyasa. Right. So basically, the seven were Kripa, Acharya and Vyasa. Markandeya was later added and it became 8. Okay, when you talk about 7, these are the 7 which the sloka says about. Okay, so this is these are the unperishable as per the sloka which is there in Sanskrit. Okay. Ashwatthama, Balivyaso, Hanuman, Chacha, Vibhishana, Kripacharya, Cha, Parasura, Saptatita, Siranjeevanam. So all these 7 Siranjeevis were this. Markandeya was later added. And since I took this sloka as a base, and that's the reason why I did not put the 8. Okay. So what is the name of the book written by Vyasa, which with later addition of such small books came to be known as the Mahabharata?
Vijaya.
Jaya.
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 It's called Jaya. So Vyasa wrote Jaya, right? And that is the reason why in Mahabharata you have Parva, his book, while in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, which is called Kandam because it is by one author, you have chapters, which means kandam. In Mahabharata, you have books. That is why you have different books collated together to form one large epic. So that's why you have Parva here and kandam. That's the basic thing. So he named it Jaya. Since Jaya means victory, this effort put in during a hard-earned victory is known as a Bhagirath Prayatna. Right? Bhagirath Prayatna. How did Brahma immortalize Bhagirath in his effort to bring Ganga down to earth?
Also known as Bhagirathi, Ganga.
Yeah, he named it Bhagirathi, which is for the descent to earth being owed to Bhagirathi. Ganga is also known as Bhagirathi, daughter of Bhagiratha, as Lord Brahma had basically proclaimed. Right? So that's the reason why Ganges is also known as Bhagirathi. Bhagirathi. Right? So, okay. I am mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita as of all trees I am a banyan tree, of all sages among demigods I am Narada, of all the Gandharvas I am Chitrangada basically, and among perfected beings I am the sage Dash. Who is this? Huh?
கொஞ்சம் இது சூடான்னு சொல்றியா எல்லாம் எடுத்துட்டு முதல்ல
I don't know.
Narayana.
He's a sage. Try check. Always just this is all about
Vyasa?
guessing. Not Vyasa. Vyasa's turn is over.
Narayana.
Huh?
Narayana.
No.
Narada.
No.
Is it Vasishta?
No.
Agastya?
No.
Vishwamitra.
No. Okay.
Okay, Narada is already.
So the answer is Kapila. Okay.
Kapila, okay.
So the reason
Kapila,
is this.
right.
Okay. So the reason with the previous question at Bhagirath and Kapila, right? What connects Bhagirath with
okay.
Kapila is that
Okay.
Sagara chose to perform Ashwamedha. Sagara was the grandfather of Bhagirath on the same Ikshvaku dynasty. So he performed the Yakshvayaga and his royal agents lost track of the horse. So he ordered all his 60,000 sons by Sumati to track down the horse. The proud and mercurial princess raged across the whole of the country, burning down forest, uprooting life, property to find the horse. They finally arrived at a quiet spot where Kapila was basically in meditation. Besides him was a white horse. So they engaged Princess Kandam, Kapila, Satip and attacked him. He was so upset that he basically burnt them all into ashes. And the only way these souls could basically rise to heaven or attain moksha was if they could be washed with the water of the sacred Ganga. Since that had to be done so that the future descendants of the family like Dasratha and Ajas, Dasratha and Rama could be born, Bhagirath took up the whole the penance to bring Ganges into the holy land of earth. Right? So that's the basic story behind the whole Bhagirath Prayatna. And that is how Kapila gets into this. Right? So the answer for the previous is the connect for the next. So this is what I could find with Kapila. So that's basically it. Alright. So with one to another. According to legend, Agastya traps this lady in his Kamandalu. When she declined his marriage proposal, this led to famine in the region, and noticing this, Ganesha in the form of a crow. Yeah. Ganesha in the form of a crow pushed Agastya's Kamandalu from his skin. Who was this damsel in distress?
Kaveri.
Probably she's still in distress.
She's still in distress.
Yeah, she's still in distress. Okay, so this damsel seems to be in distress forever. This is the river Kaveri, right? Okay. So Shiva has 1,000 names, each referring to different attributes. Like Mahadeva means great God. Dash is one among those names, which means dark clouds. Right? According to Vamana Purana, goddess Parvati was fed up with this gypsy lifestyle of Shiva. and asked him to build a house to stay during summer season. Summer vacation, she wanted a house. Shiva said to that he was one without a house. To escape from Swathi in summer, he took her to a forest resort. They walked through the shade of the forest to escape from the heat. When the rainy seasons came, Goddess Parvati again requested Shiva to build a house. He said that he had no money to build a house and that during rainy season they would stay atop a rainy cloud to avoid rain. Shiva then started residing atop dark rain clouds during the rainy season. So when they stood on top of it, it appeared like a flag post from a long distance. Thus Shiva got the name. So the first dash and the last dash together gives a name. I think Gopu would crack it. Does anybody who wants to know what the name is? The first half mentions no. It's a Sanskrit name. So one on the top, the first half is dark clouds. The second half is a flag post or a sign, whatever.
First one, Kalamega.
Not Kalamega. You can get the second half. I think you can guess the first. What is a flag post or a sign in Sanskrit?
Megastamba.
No. Anybody wanting to guess?
Megastamba.
Not Megastamba. It is not Mega. Dark cloud has another word in Sanskrit. So, can I close the answer? Can I go to the answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Called Jimta-Ketu. Jimta means basically dark clouds.
Jimta-Ketu.
Yeah. So
Jimta.
Ketu means flag post or sign, right? So that's how he got the name Jimta-Ketu. I found a lot of names. I actually wanted to ask what does Aja mean, but I didn't want to go back to Dasaratha, so I said, okay, so let's move out of Ramayana into something else, and that's why I took up this. Right? So dash, okay, what is it? Whatever is a dash is a Hebrew word for 7. It is also the name of the official long week period of grief and mourning for the first degree relatives such as father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, spouse, which is all 7 in number. Okay. Coincidentally, the word is also the main name of a Hindu deity, which means auspicious one in Sanskrit.
Shiva.
Shiva. Right. So, best part is that Shiva in Hebrew means 7. Tamil is 7. Shivan sometimes is called as 7. Right. So, Shiva it is. Right. So, quite a few on that. Right. So this is the next one. Which attendant of Shiva instructed Bharata, the author of the Natya Shastra, in the use of Angaras and Karanas, modes of Shiva's cosmic dance? Some scholars consider he must have been the author of an earlier work on the dramatic arts, which was incorporated
Nandi. Nandi.
Not Nandi.
Tandava.
Tandava. Tandu, after whom Tandava is named. Okay, so the assistant was Tandu, the choreographer of the Natya, Shiva dances. And that is why it is called the Tandava. Since Shiva dances, what form of dance is performed by Parvati in response to the male cosmic energy of Shiva's body? It really means happiness and grace, beauty, happiness and grace.
Ananda Nadanam.
Which one?
Ananda Nadanam.
Not Ananda Nadanam.
Vara.
What one?
Vara.
No.
I'm seeding myself.
What Gobu? I couldn't get it.
Ala.
No.
Lasya.
Lasya.
I have a small video, and I hope you can see it with the music and hear it.
Lasya. Yeah. Yeah. அது கான்செப்ட் யூடியூப் பியூட்டி ஹாப்பினஸ்
It was in tune with the Anushka Ravi Shankar's piece called Lasya. Right? So, that is the female version of the Tandava. Okay? All right. This devotional hymn was composed by Adi Shankara while he was staying in Srisailam. It begins with an ode to Mallikarjuna and Brahmaramba, the reigning deities, and consists of 100 stanzas of Sanskrit poetry. This literary meaning of the hymn is wave of auspicious bliss. Sloka are we talking about?
Nirvana Shatakam.
No, Shivananda Lahari.
Shivananda Lahari.
Soundarya Lahari. Soundarya Lahari.
That is Shivananda Lahari or the Soundarya Lahari. So
Yeah.
that's the it's called the Shivananda Lahari. Right? So that's what it is. Okay, so since we are on that whole thing, this temple is one of the 12 Jyotirlingas. It is located at the source of Godavari. The current temple was
Trambakeshwar.
Triambakeshwar. Yes. The current temple was built by Peshava Balaji Baji Rao, or also called as Nana Sahib. The linga has 3 faces embodied of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. It is covered by a crown consisting of precious stone and believed to date from the Pandava era. Triambakeshwar. Yeah, beautiful temple. Okay. Which takes us to this. Once 3 Asura brothers, Kamaraksha, Tarakaraksha, and Vidyamali performed intense penance to Brahma. After many years,
Tripura.
Tripura, it is. So from one tree to another tree. Right? So this is Shiva basically killing the 3 Asuras and their palaces in 3 different worlds. Okay, so that's what it is. So from one tree to another tree. Who or what are Gayatri, Trishu, Pancham?
Mantras.
3 meters.
Balaji gets it. It's actually the scale of the meters. Yeah, this is basically that the verses of the Vedas have variety of different meters on the scale. They are divided by number of padas in a verse and the number of syllables in a pada, which is chandas. The study of Vedic meter is one of the 6 Vedanga disciples or organs of Vedas. So Jagati basically has 4 padas of 12 syllables. Trishubh has 4 padas of 11 syllables. Viraj has 4 padas of 10 syllables. Anushtup has 4 padas of 8 syllables each. This is typically the slokas on Sanskrit poetry. And Gayatri is of 3 padas of 8 syllables. So this is basically the Vedanga or Veda, how it is metered, and that's how it is. So this is about Vedas. So since we are in Vedas, we are into Vedic gods. She is a dawn, daughter of the sky, day of the light, who rouses all life. She still stirs all creatures that have feet and makes the birds of air fly up. Born on 100 chariots, she oaks her seeds before arrival of the sun and is never late. Loved by the Ashwins, sisters of the god, she eludes the sun who is always eager to catch her. She brings not just light to the sleeping mankind, but hope, happiness, riches, and all good things. The goddess of light and beauty, who wishes of old time.
Gayatri.
Usha it is, right? So from one Vedic to Vedas, the Usha are the Ushas, right? So they are she is the god of the dawn. Okay, so with dawn we get into waking up. How did Vishwamitra wake up Rama every day when they rested near the river Sarayu during the journey to kill the demoness Tadaka?
Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate.
He composed and sang the Suprabhadam. Kausalya Supraja Rama Sandhya Purva Pravartate Uttishta Narasasula Kartavyam Devamanyam. And the basic translation is, O Rama, son of Kausalya, the sun is about to rise in the eastern sky. Please arise to offer your morning of obligations. Arise, O Govinda, the holder of the flag, the Garuda emperor. Cast aside your sleep to bestow your protection and solace to the universe. And that's the meaning for those who don't understand Sanskrit or who never tried to understand what it actually meant. So the Suprabhadam was basically Vishwamitra's gift to us. Right? So that's it. How is Vishwamitra related to Jamataka?
He was his minister.
Oh,
No, Vishwamitra was a king, no?
who was Jamataka?
Jamatagni's son is Parashurama. Then Terila.
You have to know the birth of both of them, how they were born. Guess, keep guessing. You know all relatives. Right?
Wife or something?
Surely not.
Sibling.
No.
Parent.
No.
Son-in-law.
No.
Father-in-law.
No. Good. Keep going. That's nice. This is the best way to. This is what I like in quiz, right? There's no shortage of guessing, and everybody guesses.
Friend.
Come again?
Friend.
Nephew, Vishwamitra, nephew of Jamadagni.
Actually, the other way around. According
Jamatagni
to
is the
Vishnu
nephew.
Purana, okay, according to Vishnu Purana, Kushanabha married a damsel Purukutsa of the dynasty, right? Later called as Samakrishna lineage, descendant of Vishwaku and whatever. Had a son named Bengavi, who had a daughter named Satyavati, not to be confused with the one in Mahabharata. Satyavati was married to an old man known as Ruchika, who was the foremost among the race of Bhigu. Ruchika decided to have a son, having the qualities of a good person. So he gave Satyavati a sacrificial offering, which is Charu, which he had prepared to achieve this objective. He also gave Satyavati's mother another Charu to make her conceive a son with the character of a Kshatriya at a request. But Satyavati's mother privately asked Satyavati to exchange the Charu with her. Thus resulted Satyavati's mother giving birth to Vishwamitra and Satyavati giving birth to Jamatagni, father of Parshurama, a person with qualities of a warrior. Right? So that's precisely the story behind the birth of both Vishwamitra and Jamatagni, who was the father of Parshurama. And so they were uncle and nephew. And this is basically the story behind it. I actually wanted to put another question after this. I have not, but I will just ask it on air. We all know Kunti had 6 sons, right? So 2 of them, one Yudhishthira and Karna, had both had the same mother, but paternally, how were they related?
Son.
Whose son is who?
Karna was the son of a charioteer.
No, that's
No,
the
no,
father.
no.
Yama is the son
Father
of
was the
Surya.
son.
Yudhishthira is
and
Yama. Yama is son of sun god. So
Okay.
Karna's father will be Yudhishthira's grandfather.
Who is? How is Karna related to Yudhishthira on the paternal side?
Uncle.
Yeah, so can you tell it in Tamil what the actual thing is? It's basically the Chittappa, right? So because Karna is born to Surya, Yama is also Surya's son, right? Since Yudhishthira is born to Yama, so Karna is on the paternal side Chittappa of Yudhishthira, but maternally they are brothers. I wanted to put that, but went out of turn, so I did not. Instead, I had something else. Who was the father of Virakasur and Uluka?
Shakuni.
So one
Uluka
from
was his biological son, but Vrikasur was a demon begotten through a ritual.
yeah, that's right. But still, the father is the famous uncle or the infamous uncle. Sakuni.
Sakuni.
So now to the other relation. How is Duryodhana related to Krishna?
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law.
Whose father-in-law is who?
That
Duryodhana's Duryodhana and Krishna are Duryodhana's daughter married Krishna's son.
Samba.
They are Sambandhis.
Samba married Lakshmana.
Right. So they are Sambandhis, right? So so whatever. I don't have an English word for the Sambandhi. So I put it as Sambandhi.
In-laws.
Duryodhana's father.
In-laws.
In-laws.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In-laws are outlaws. Right. So Duryodhana's daughter is Lakshmana, and Krishna's son with Jambavati was Samba, who abducted her and married her because she refused to acknowledge him in the Swayamvar. And yeah, the rest is history. Right? So, who was Nakula's father? So from one father-in-law to another.
Drupada.
Not Drupada.
Drupada. That is also correct.
That is a common father-in-law for all five of them. You want a clue? I'll say I will give you 100 chances.
None.
Huh? The only clue I can give you is I can give you 100 chances.
Drupada?
Not Drupada.
I think Shishupala.
Shishupala. You took it on the second chance. Alright. So Krishna gave Shishupala.
Because his second wife Karenumati was the princess of Chedi.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so the point is, the whole thing was, the reason why I said 100 was Krishna gave Shishupala 100 chances before.
The weirdest point is that Shishupala is Nakula's cousin.
It happened, right? When Chitapa can be your brother, you can still have anybody as any.
Greek.
Alright, so
Technically, Nakula is considered to be the son of Kunti. Kunti's own sister's son is Shishupala.
that's right? So nothing wrong. Uncle marrying. So you all know Sugriva of Ramayana. Who is Sugriva in Mahabharata? Who or what is Sugriva in?
So Vanara king.
No.
Mahabharata.
Mahabharata, not in. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Weapon?
Oh.
He's Bali's brother, right? Sugriva?
That is in Ramayana. I'm asking who is he in Mahabharata?
Oh, who is he in Mahabharata? Okay.
Not the same Sugriva. There's another character called Sugriva in Mahabharata. Yeah, you can say okay. So Sugriva was never a Chiranjeevi.
Sugriva is
the Upapandavas?
No.
Is it one of the Upapandavas?
No, not the Upapandavas. We had one on Upapandava in last quiz, so they made sure. Sugriva is one among the five, but not the brothers.
Sugriva is son of Surya, who is Karna in Mahabharata.
No way. So, one for the quiz master. Any more guesses? What are the five things you see in the Mahabharata other than the brothers?
Options, sir. No idea.
Yes, no idea. Very good. So most of it is in the Lord Krishna and Arjuna as a charioteer. There are 5 horses which are pulled by the Krishna's chariot. They are called the Kamaga, Saibya, Sugriva.
Sir, wrong, sir. There are 4 horses.
There are 5.
Oh,
So there are 5 horses, often interpreted by scholars that 5 horses represent the 5 senses.
That's a good one. Okay.
We all see the horse, but we never knew the names of them. Yeah, here are the names. According to Hindu mythology, Krishna Jinka is considered as a vehicle, Vagana of the moon god. How do we know Krishna Jinka?
Deer.
What deer? Jinka is deer. So what deer? What deer? What is it? I want a specific name.
Black bug. Black bug.
Black bug it is, right? Not the one Salman Khan shot. Still. Okay, so black bug it is. Okay, so for most of us who read the Shastras or the Shrutis and Smritis and stuff like that, it is basically said that the Karpanam you do or the Sardam you do has to be done in a place where the black bug places. Right? So anything outside that is supposed to be outside the Sarda place, and it does not have add value. Right? And that's one of the reasons why they say if you fly outside the Kandam, the auspiciousness or the good things which you do on any karma or any good deeds or yagna does not have the power. Basically, black bug or the Krishna Jinka plays a huge part in most of those smritis and shrutis which are basically there, and it tells about the duties and righteousness of what a Brahmin or Hindu basically has to do. Right? So that's a black bug to it. From one to another. King of Deva, Indra has a dog. What was she called? I couldn't get another question.
Sarma.
Sarama.
Sorry. Sarma.
Brilliant. I thought this nobody would get. Yes. Dog was named as Sarama. How did you forget it? Where did you learn it? That was okay. Out of the bag. Okay. So
Oh,
the
sorry,
Scandinavian.
I read it from the Amar Chitragatha.
Very good. That's good. In the Scandinavian myth, it was Bifrost, the bridge connecting heaven to earth. In Christianity, it was God's sign to Noah that he would never again send another great flood. What is it to be believed in Indian mythology?
Matsya and Manu.
Oh, what is Matsya and Manu? How does Matsya and Manu connect heaven to earth?
Matsya ordered Manu to pick up all the creatures of the earth and take them on a great ark.
Yeah, that is about the great flood, but this is about bridge connecting heaven and earth.
Rainbow.
Yeah. So what is it?
Is it Vaikunta?
No. What is it in Indian mythology? What is that? What is the bridge between heaven and earth called?
Vajra.
Vajra. It is. Okay, so Indradhanush. Indradhanush. Yeah. Basically, the Indradhanush or the Vajra. Basically. The rainbow the road that leads to heaven. Right? With that, we come to this. We're going way too fast. Right? Many objects emerged from the churning of the Milky Ocean, commonly known as Samudra Madam. Okay, I'll finish the question. Yeah, right. I will finish the question. By the Devas and the Asuras, Airavat, the divine white elephant, was taken up by Indra. A 7-headed horse, flying horse, a white snow white in color, also came out of the journey, who was taken up by the Asuras.
Keshi.
Uchchaishrava.
Uchchaishrava it is, right? So how is Uchchaishrava connected to Indra? How is it connected to the previous question? How is this connected to the previous question?
Indradhanush was the previous question. The answer to that.
How is
So,
it?
Is Indra's one of his many pets?
Oh. Okay, so the bone of Uchchaishrava was sacrificed in Kal. That bone was made into Vajra. So that's Indra's term or whatever. Right? So that's the basic story behind it. Right? So that is why I came to that. If he's guardian of the east, who is the guardian of the north? From Indra to somebody else.
Indra on the guardian of the east. Who is it for the north?
Kubera.
Kubera it is. Yes. Kubera it is. So, one to another. I had to link this to something else. So this is where it came. So who is this deity?
Kubera?
Huh?
Kubera?
Not Kubera. There are huge clues in it. There is a huge Ravana. It is. This is in Jodhpur, where a sect of Brahmins think that they are from the same lineage of from the Ravana's. So they still keep him as a
Brahmin
god.
lineage, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So that is Ravana there. So, Ravana was a Brahmin, and that sect of people who live there think that they are from the same lineage. And Kubera is a half brother of Ravana. So this one. So, the Pancharas, the 5 mode of contact. Okay? Ashtavarna, 8-fold armor that protects the devotee from distraction of worldly attachments. Shastala, 6 levels of achievements a devotee can achieve. All of them are features of which Shaivite tradition. You all know that Ravana was a great Shaivite. So,
Kanyakubja Brahminism. Kanyakubja Brahminism.
No.
Nath tradition.
Which one?
Nath.
No.
Kashmiri Shaivism.
No.
Ghoras.
No, it is very much south. So,
Lingayats.
no.
Saiva Siddhanta?
That would be a very,
Lingayat.
not Lingayat, not the Lingayat.
It's from Karnataka, right?
Maybe yes, but I don't actually know the correct. Could be from somewhere there at Tamil Nadu border.
Veerasaiva?
Yeah, it is Veerasaivism. Called the Veerasaivism. The Veerasaivism has those traits, and that's what they follow. The most easiest question, the longest question with the shortest answer.
Sri Kalahasti.
This place gets okay. So I will read out the question. This place gets its name from the legend that a spider, snake, elephant all worshipped Lord Shiva here, and on their death they were granted moksha. The spider was born as a king in that area, and it is believed that he built the temple. The 100-pillar mandapam of this temple was built by Krishnadevaraya in 1526. It is one of the Panchabhut Kshetras where Lord Shiva is worshipped in the form of the 5 elements, and there is Shiva in the form of boy. Took some time typing it, but it took very less time for somebody to answer it. So it is Sri Kalahasti, which basically, when separated, would give you all the 3 names. Right?
I know, I wanted.
Yeah, somebody was fast on.
Chamundi Hills.
Chamundi, Mysore.
So everybody saw yesterday's lecture, right? All right. So Mahishasur was slain by goddess Durga. The place is, the name Mysuru is an anglicized version of Mahishuru, which means abode of Mahisha in the Kannada language. Mahisha stands for Mahishasura, a mythological demon that could assume form of both human and buffalo. According to the mythology, the area was ruled by the demon Mahishasura. The demon was killed by goddess Chamundeshwari. Thus, temple is atop the Chamundi Hills. Mahishasura later became Mahishuru. Finally, it got the name Mysuru. It's the present name in the Kannada language. From one to another. As per legend, in the battle between the demon Tarakasura and Kartikeya, the latter could not subdue him initially. Whenever he killed him with his weapon, the piece of his body would reunite again miraculously. This was then Lord Vishnu suggested that Tarakasura power lays in the Shivalinga he was worshipping, asking him to break that first, but on one condition, that the pieces of the broken linga must be fixed in their respective places so that they could not rejoin. Kartikeya did so. Surya fixed the parts of these lingas by building temples over them. There are 5 places located in Andhra Pradesh and are called Dash Kshetras. And the lingas were believed to have been installed by Indra, Surya, Chandra, Vishnu, and Kumaraswamy.
Panchashetras.
Panchashetras. It's called the Pancharama Kshetras. is in Andhra Pradesh, and this is basically where all of this happened, because of which Surya had two sons. Surya had a lot of sons, but two of them had the same name. One from Sanjana, the other from Chaya.
Manu.
We started with Manu, we ended with Manu. I never thought it would go so fast, right? But still, we managed to finish much before time, right? So we started with the Manu, and we quickly ended with Manu. So this was my first attempt in it. I should have had a few more questions, but good that everybody did great in cracking most of it. Okay, so that's all I have right now. Okay, so
Thank you.
Manu, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good quiz, sir. Very good quiz.
Very good quiz.
Amazing quiz, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, sir. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Anu.
Thank you.
Very nice.
The first time.